we're here with Kent MacDonald, Liberal candidate for Cardigan. Kent, just tell me about the campaign and what the last 5 weeks have been like for you.
Well, I've been really enjoying it. It's been a very big district to cover, so I hope that people understand I haven't got everywhere to every home, but I've been in every area of the district. I've visited a lot of fishing ports, a lot of businesses, and have learned what all the issues are with the people in the Cardigan riding.
And what has the reception been like at the doors? Are people generally interested in what you have to say?
People are very engaged this election. I've been hearing things like a distrust of Polyev, the Trump situation on trade and the tariffs, the healthcare issue in PEI, things like affordability for younger people. And so that's pretty consistent across the district. I've been hearing those concerns. A little bit more in Stratford, I've been hearing about the fear of cuts to the public service in Prince Edward Island.
Is there an issue, you know, obviously this election has kind of been consumed by the Trump stuff and tariffs and all that. Is there an issue that, you know, you think is important that may not have gotten a whole lot of attention during the campaign?
Well, it's interesting. I come from agriculture, and agriculture really hasn't been top of mind, or most of the political parties haven't even addressed it to any extent. I know the Federation sent out a survey, and the Conservative Party didn't even respond to it. So I think agriculture's the most important commodity in PEI, or that industry, and I was surprised it wasn't discussed more.
Great. So we had the debate hosted by the Chamber. What did you think of the debate last week? You know, your own performance and just the overall tone of the evening?
Well, of course, I think I won. I really enjoyed the debate. I thought that the format was good, and I want to congratulate all the other candidates. It was a very civil debate. I've got comments back on social media how the viewers that watched it online really enjoyed it. So it was a good event, and I commend the Chamber of Commerce and the Eastern Graphic for carrying it out.
Are there any, you know, moments or memories from this campaign that stand out for you?
I think the biggest thing that stands out for me is just the need for good government representation in this area. There's a lot of people that have issues, whether it be healthcare or business related, and the ports in the riding. From one area to the other, the ports need a lot of repair, the fishing ports. And so we're going to need a strong voice that's going to bring that message and get our fair share of funding for the Cardigan district.
Great. And so the polls are still open tonight until 8:30. What's your final pitch to anyone watching that may not have voted yet?
All I can say is that if you want a strong voice in a Mark Carney-led government, then please get out and vote for Kent MacDonald.
All right, thanks for your time, Kent, and we'll see how things go later on tonight.
Okay, thank you.
That's for sure. It's a pretty important election. There was a lot of people that were upset that I ran with one party before and not supporting them this time, but there's a reason I'm running, and that's no different than it was the last two elections. There's a change needed, and neither one of these parties are going to give it to you, that's for sure.
Were there like some people excited that you were running independently?
A lot of people excited. That's the reason why I ran in the first place. But after Trudeau left, a lot of those people may have gone back to the Liberals. I don't know. We won't know till the votes are cast. There was 11,500 people at the advanced polls, so no idea really. Well, I did. As an independent, you have to raise your own money, you have to do everything yourself. We didn't get approved by Election Canada until 10 days after the election was called. So you can't, as an independent, you can't put your name or anything in until after the election's called. So our online marketing is probably just starting to kick in now. So it was probably too late for the advanced polls, but we did some mail drops and online marketing, and of course door to door. But in this day and age, pretty well most homes have two people working, so you can knock on 200 doors in a day and have 10 people home. So the only time to get anybody is in the evenings. Well, the biggest challenge would be the foolishness done by some of the other people involved with the election. So a lot of rumors, a lot of misinformation put out there. But anyway, it was a good learning experience. It went good. Thanks for hosting it. I think it went well. Everyone said that the debate, that if people are always looking for a winner in a debate, I don't know whether there ever actually is one.
Yeah.
I'm probably the only one who was allowed to say what they wanted to say. If you looked at the other people talking, they were reading messages from whoever wrote it for them. That was pretty clear. Like, I watched the debate 3 or 4 days later. But I don't really know if enough people saw the debate to make an impact. The people who were at the debate, it was pretty easy to tell that most of them were brought in to clap and to cheer, and they weren't listening to what was being said. They were there to fill seats. It's pretty simple. The media has pushed this on to tariffs and Donald Trump, and that's not where it should be. They were somehow able to change this election from 10 years of completely piss poor government to blaming a billionaire from the States who really has nothing to do with Canada. He's going to be there for another 3.5 years. We can't be waking up every morning worrying what he does. We're in a country full of natural resources. We should be one of the wealthiest countries on the planet. And mismanagement is putting us right down the toilet. So that was one of the big things. It's Trump, 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 and it shouldn't be. But from other people who couldn't care less about Trump because they've got no heat, they got no food, there's not enough money to pay their bills, they're growing more and more and more, and it's really sad. Like, Prince Edward Island used to be a really affordable place to raise a family, and now it's getting out of reach for the average person. Really, your wages do not equal enough to pay for $500,000 for a bungalow. It's crazy. I can't imagine. No, I don't know. It's a lot of work. I've taken a month off. Mm-hmm. I'm still hoping that people do want change, but I'm getting messages apologizing for voting for somebody else, saying that an independent, we need the Liberals gone, I needed to vote this way even if he's not the right person for it. Until Islanders learn to vote for the person and not the party, an independent is probably not a good option here now, unfortunately. Oh, they're very interested, very, very interested. So if you had another month to knock on another 5,000 doors, it's not a big deal. Almost every door you go to, they don't even know what an independent is, and they think it's a great idea. Really, what this country, what this province in particular needs, and we're going to get the scraps of what's left over from Ontario and Quebec after this election. That's it. That's the reality of it. Our farmers were thrown under the bus with a tariff on electric vehicles, and the retaliatory tariff from China is put on our fishermen. They don't care. Ottawa doesn't care. We got 4 votes on PEI that no matter what Ottawa does, no matter how many times Trudeau was caught doing something, how many videos come out on how crooked Carney is, Islanders vote Liberal. I have no idea. So they're not going. We're going to be left complaining, which is just the island way of doing things. People complain and they don't actually get anything fixed. In the beginning, we had lots of money promised in, so that wasn't an issue.
Okay.
We didn't spend any money more than what we had, so we only spent, as it came in, we spent it.
Yeah.
The system is designed for an independent to not put his name in or her name in until after the election's called. Well, you've only got about 30 days, so if you lose 10 of them, and then you get approved, and then you call the sign company and you say, okay, how quickly can you get me these? You have no signs out for the first half of the election. And I don't know why, but Islanders think, oh, the more small signs you have out there, the more support you have. Well, half my signs after the winds are probably stuck in people's fences or floating across the Northumberland Strait. I have no idea where most of them went. So, no, I think independence running is a great thing. We need something different on PEI. Well, if Lawrence runs, he just wins. So he doesn't do anything but win. So I didn't run against Lawrence last time. He didn't knock on doors. He didn't do anything. All he has to do is sit in his chair and people vote for him because they like him. Or they vote for him because they like the Liberals. So, in all fairness to Mr. McCauley, if he had a ran again, it would have been his again for sure. No problem. You can, anybody to stand back and say, oh, I could have beat Lawrence McCauley this time. I haven't done it for 37 years, so they're not going to magically do it now. Well, the final message is, in order to have change, you have to do it yourself. You have to vote in the right person, not the party. You have to start.
It was, it was challenging. There wasn't a whole lot of time really to prepare, but it was, like I said, it was educational and it was entertaining. I mean, I got to meet a lot of different people, do it all different kinds of walks of life, right? So it was good that way. I mean, it comes with its own challenges. You know, I noticed that a lot of the other teams had a lot of support from their parties and so on and so forth, and I did get emotional support from my party, but there wasn't a whole lot of any other support. So pretty well everything was on my own. People are nice. You know, everyone around here is pretty good. You know, even if they weren't really considering voting PPC or anything along those lines, people were always receptive for a conversation, and that's really the whole point, right? Just get out and talk. It was mostly just door knocking and online stuff, but I was still working a full-time job the entire time as well, right? So it's the door knocking was limited, and it's just it was kind of difficult to kind of find ways to get out to meet people. You know what I mean? Beyond knocking on doors. So I imagine that's just my inexperience. You know, people probably have ideas. They're like, oh, I'll do this, but like I said, it's educational. I did a lot of research and you know, presented all my facts and everything like that. But it I don't know. It seemed like the biggest topic for me was the debt. And it just didn't seem to be that interesting for anyone to hear, though it seems to be, I think it's the most important issue in our country right now, is the debt. Whittling down the debt will, you know, ease interest rates, it'll make living easier, but no one seemed interested in that. It just seemed like all the questions were geared and centered around, as a representative for the federal government, what money will you give us? You know, and it was like, well, we don't really have the economy. People can't afford groceries. Can't afford groceries, can't afford gas, can't afford anything. You know what I mean? It just keeps piling up, and I don't know. That's frustrating for me because it's little kids and everything like that. You want to make sure that the fridges are full. You know, you want babies to be healthy, warm, and fed. And it doesn't seem like that's happening. You know, you meet person after person who's having a tough time, you know, keeping milk in the fridge or any of these things, and it touches you, right? It's just a matter of kind of getting the word out there for the PPC. Let people know there's another option. Please take a look at our platform, you know, and just kind of, you know, ring the bell, say, hey, we're here, right? Hopefully some people take a look. Absolutely. If the PPC asked me to run again, I'd run again. Like I said, I got a bit of an education this time, so I think. Well, no. It seemed like when people were. They'd ask you what, you know, how you were going, if you're going to help fund this project, or if you're going to help fund this project, and then once the answer was no, that was kind of the end of the interest. You know what I mean? It was, you know, but when you're talking to normal everyday people, you know, everyone's pretty receptive. You know, a lot of people didn't know we existed to begin with. You know, so it was nice that way. And what else would I say? I guess just take care of yourselves. You know, everyone's got we're entering into some dangerous times, and nobody seems to really be talking about the debt, but that is going to come bite us in the butt. So you know, take care of yourselves, stock up your fridges and your freezers, and hopefully you don't need to.